here we are at the National Historic Landmark Sloss Furnace, serving as a monument to the Industrial Revolution. As you may know, Birmingham played an important role during this time due to the high demand for iron and steel in the late 19th and early 20th century. Birmingham is the only place in the world where all the ingredients for making iron are present: coal, iron ore, and limestone. This supply and high demand catapulted Birmingham's growth and population. In fact, the city grew so much it was named the Magic City, as it seemed to appear out of nowhere. Sloss Furnace construction began early 1881 with newly innovated stoves to supply the hot air blast for the furnaces. During its first decade, Alabama pig iron production grew from approximately 69,000 to over 700,000 tons. World War II continued to expand the market for iron and steel, and by 1941, when America entered the war, nearly half of Birmingham's labor force was employed in the iron and steel industry. Today, Sloss remains the only 20th century blast furnace in the United States. It now serves as a museum for all visitors, as well as a venue for special concerts and events.
The Civil Rights District of Birmingham is a 6-block area that contains many of Birmingham's civil rights landmarks and was declared a national monument by President Barack Obama in 2017. Some of the landmarks include the 16th Street Baptist Church, Kelly Ingram Park, and the Civil Rights Institute, which we're going to visit today.
One of the most famous sites of the civil rights movement is the 16th Street Baptist Church.
Eventually became the organizational headquarters for civil rights leaders in the 1960s. People like Fred Shuttlesworth and Dr. King and other SCLC leaders during the Birmingham campaign often spoke here to educate people on the philosophies and practical applications for protesting for people who were joining the movement. The church is most well known for the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. On September 15, 1963, 2 Ku Klux Klan members planted 19 sticks of dynamite outside of the church's basement. The explosion killed 4 young girls: Addie Mae Collins, Carol Robertson, Cynthia Wesley, and Denise McNair. 22 other people were also injured. The bombing was a pivotal moment for the civil rights movement, again highlighting racial tension present in the South. Today, the church is a National Historic Landmark and receives more than 200,000 visitors annually. Located directly across the street from the 16th Street Baptist Church is Kelly Ingram Park. This park served as a central rallying point for the SCLC and other similar groups for demonstrations and marches. Most notably was in May of 1963, where peaceful protesters were confronted by Birmingham's police and firemen with arrests, police dogs, and fire hoses. And in what was an effort to protect protesters, the majority of demonstrators were children and high school students. Images of the brutality circulated widely and ultimately helped to galvanize support for the movement and make progress towards the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1964. The park is 4 acres large, and in the park you'll find several sculptures depicting and commemorating the events that took place during the Birmingham movement. In 1992, it was completely renovated and is designated as a place of revolution and reconciliation. Knowing what we've learned about Birmingham's place in civil rights history, it's obvious that it would be important to preserve that history. And in 1992, the Civil Rights Institute was established. It's a museum-like journey through the civil rights movement with both physical artifacts and personal accounts of individuals. It serves to both preserve the memory of and embrace Birmingham's difficult past as it relates to racism. The goal of the Institute is to neither forget nor dwell on the past, but help to use their platform to foster understanding in the present.
The places and events that we've touched on have helped to foster a brighter future for the state of Alabama. Many of the prominent civil rights leaders went on to achieve amazing things, such as U.S. Representative John Lewis, who became a U.S. Congressman, and Angela Davis, who became a professor at the University of California in Santa Cruz. In 1970, John Hulett became the first black sheriff in Lowndes County. Rosa Parks of Tuskegee, Alabama, went on to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Bill Clinton in 1996. Oscar Adams made history by becoming the first African American to join the Birmingham Bar Association in 1966 and forming the state's first integrated legal practice. Vivian Malone became the first African American to graduate from the University of Alabama in 1965. These accomplishments helped form the beautiful Birmingham that we know and love today.